Hi guys, welcome to this week's Paint and Ramble video. So this week I'm going to be working on some Primaris Reavers. I got I think I bought maybe they're all easy to build, but I don't think I bought the easy to build box. These could be all from Conquest. So basically, long story short, they're the easy to build ones. I'm just going to zoom this out a bit. So they don't come with the grav shoots or the bolt carbine things. They just come with the pistol and combat knife. Excuse me. So my thinking was I'd give them all jetpacks because I think they look cool, the jetpacks. Jump packs. So if I wanted, I could use these as Primaris Reavers with grav shoots, or I could just sub them in for extra Death Company models with jump packs because they're kind of scary looking. So I'm just gonna crack open nice old can of Rossi. This was none of the green and I went to do the shopping and then I get started. Oh, that's cold. Right, so I base coated all these guys up the same on the Battle Predator. So it's literally just a case of Scarlet Red, Vallejo Scarlet Red as the base coat. Just move stuff. And then it was 50-50 with Mephiston Red, and then Mephiston Red straight down. That was basically how I done all the base coats on these Blood Angels anyway. So I'm just gonna get stuck into painting. I had a game the other day against, it was on Tuesday, it was Blood Angels versus Grey Knight, no, Admech with Grey Knight allies. Didn't go well for me. I had Dead Company move up. I done I think it's Forlorn Fury is what the stratagem is called, and the Death Company jumped straight up. I got them onto an objective before the game started. I rolled a 6 for the advance. Okay, I'm not on camera painting these. So it's grand. Jumped straight up with the Death Company, and then my opponent seized the initiative. So that was grand. I held the objective, got a CP from it. He had 2 Onager Dune Crawlers, he had Cataphren Destroyers, he had the twin robot dudes with the gun hands that was spitting out, like, I think it was 18 shots a piece they shot out a turn with stratagems and other things. So he was just lifting stuff left, right and centre. But what happened in the end was he blew up my Battle Predator, he blew up my Redemptor Dreadnought, he killed my Librarian Dreadnought. This is all before turn 3. So I was going into turn 3 with a unit of Dead Company that was left. I had Captain Slamguinius, I was going to say Gravis Captain, Terminator Captain. I had a Sanguinary Priest, a Lieutenant, Dead Company. I had a Last Cannon Predator on 2 wounds, which I left my dice bag sitting on and totally forgot to fire it, and a unit of Sanguinary Guard. So I killed a unit of Skitarii Rangers, I want to say. They were holding objective number 5, killed them between the Death Company and the Sanguinary Guard. That got me another objective point. That got me up to 2 at that stage, and I got another one for killing a unit in combat or something. Got me up to 3, and that was literally all the command points I got that game. Whereas my opponent got 6. Slamguinius really didn't work out too well in this game. What happened was the Grandmaster deep struck in. He went after a few guys. He killed something. I can't remember what he killed, but whatever way he moved, I was able to get a charge because I ran the Sanguinary Priest, the Lieutenant, and Slamguinius all as one blob. That's the way I was running them. So all them and the Terminator Captain. What the Grandmaster done was he shot the Terminator Captain with his Pilsener gun, his Gatling Pilsener, and done I think 2 wounds to the Terminator Captain. So the Terminator Captain, the Lieutenant, the Sanguinary Priest all made the charges, and Captain Slamguinius failed the charge, which absolutely I was so upset, and he had the Angel's Wing backpack, so he got a reroll on the charge, and like I say, I needed a 6-inch charge. I rolled a 2 and a 1, re-rolled it 2 ones, so it just wasn't meant to be. And obviously, Slangunius just got killed after that. He got shot to bits by everything on the board, so he didn't stick around for too long. But it was a good game, like it was an enjoyable game. But I still don't think that I have enough heavy shooting in my list. The aggressors, so this is how the game went. Turn 1, he seized, so he lifted the aggressors, a 3-man aggressor unit, he lifted a full unit of scouts, and I was left with 2 tactical marines. That's what he lifted on turn 1. So by turn 3 I was pretty much crippled. I did not have very much left at all to fight back with. There was only so much that I could do with what I had, and Slangunius not making the charge was a bit of a pain, because I think the Terminator captain done really good. He done 9 wounds on the Dread Knight. I think I got, or no, I played a stratagem which gave me D3 extra attacks on the charge. So Terminator captain went in and done, I think he was on 5 attacks or something then. Done 4 wounds, and my opponent only saved 1. So the Thunder Hammer that the Terminator captain had is 3 damage apiece, which was annoying because Slamgunius's one is 4 damage apiece, but I didn't get him into combat. So if he had went in, I would have got Warlord for an extra CP, and the Grandmaster would have been gone, because obviously the Grandmaster just my Thunderhammer captain battered him. Then the Grandmaster took his gigantic Space Marine sized hammer and just flattened the captain. So the captain didn't have a chance after that. And that was my hard hitter in the list. Like the lieutenant, I think, had a power sword, and the sanguinary priest had a chain sword. So I wasn't really doing a whole pile to a Grandmaster Nemesis Dread Knight after that. But no, it was a good game, and it still leaves me thinking that I need something else in the list. And that's I brought the Ball Predator and the Last Cannon Predator this time, and he basically focus fire down the Ball Predator straight away. Ball Predator is an anti-infantry tank, because he's got, well, the way I load him out is he's got a hunter killer missile to fire at a tank, he's got a storm bolter, and he has a twin assault cannon on the top and 2 heavy bolter sponsons, is the way that I load mine out. So he's doing a fair amount of shots at infantry, and I was just like, the way the deployment went, I was just at the max range of his guns without moving them, so it was grand. But the Doom Crawlers are crazy good. Now luckily enough, my opponent didn't have them close enough together to benefit from the 5-up invul they get if they're within, I think it's 6 inches of each other. This is very, very watered down paint. And he remembered it, but I'd already blown up one of them, so with the Last Cannon Predator. Last Cannon Predator done good, but I wonder if it's worth taking 3 Predators and running 2 Ball Predators with the anti-infantry and giving them 2 hunter killer missiles, and taking a Last Cannon Predator, because then you can use the kill shot stratagem to get the extra, I think it's +1 to wound rolls against vehicles, which might help. Call, I didn't even, Belisarius Call was in the AdMech side of the list, didn't even get near him, don't think I put a wound on him at all. His Grey Knight Paladins jumped in and blew up my, his Grey Knight Paladins jumped in, yeah, they blew up the Librarian Dreadnought, who was not doing very well that game. He couldn't cast psychic powers to save his life. I think I got Wings of Sanguinius off once in 3 turns. So it wasn't a very good game for me. The dice rolls were absolutely atrocious. I forgot the dice that I normally use, and I was using all my spare dice, and I was just rolling 1s and 2s and 3s. Like, so you need a 4 to wound, roll a 1. You need a 3 to wound, roll a 4. It's just, I was so close to greatness. So close. But no, it was a good game, quite enjoyable. So that's it. The lad texted me and he was like, will you make any change to your list and whatever? I was like, yep, definitely. I am well, I think Shadow Spear is out next week, so that'll be, I want to try and get these guys finished and get them off the table. Out of sight, out of mind. At least if they're painted, then I'll have got another unit painted, because Shadow Spear is going to take up the majority of my time, getting them painted up and doing reviews and stuff like that. So I want to get that done as quick as I can, Shadow Spear. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Land Raider painted up. The Redemptor Dreadnought, he done a couple of shots of things. He went into combat with, I was the Sidonian Stalkers or something. Whatever the Rust, no, not the Rust Stalkers. They were the big guys with legs that look like they were out of Star Wars. With the taser goats, I think they have. And there was two of them in the unit, and the Librarian Dreadnought and the Redemptor Dreadnought went after them. And I think the Librarian Dreadnought missed 2 attacks on the fully healed, or the full health guy, and the other guy had 1 wound left from the Redemptor Dreadnought. I'm actually pointing at him, he's over there. One guy had 1 wound left from the Redemptor Dreadnought. I hit the guy that had 1 wound left, and I missed the other guy, and the Librarian Dreadnought only had 3 attacks. So that didn't go too well. But the Redemptor Dreadnought failed the charge as well. It was a really you know, it was really getting me down. Like every time I tried to get ahead, there was a dice roll leaving me back at square one. So we were laughing about it, like I wasn't getting salty about it, and like I was having a good bit of crack. But what annoyed me the most was the first time the Redemptor's ever been on the table, and he was just completely wiped out. I think the Grandmaster shot him, cast smiting him, a Dooncrawler shot him. I think the other Dooncrawler shot him after that, and then he blew up, but yeah, like he was not around nothing. So yeah, anytime I put out nice, big and new on the table, it gets blown up straight away. So yeah, back to the plan. It's either going to be the Storm Raven, or the Storm Raven, or the Land Raider, the non-flying Storm Raven, because I was trying to pick which guy to make the Sergeant. They're literally identical bar different poses, and they have the same jump packs. Okay, not this guy. That's the way I'm going to do it. So what I'm going to do is get my Thunder Hammers are 3 damage a piece. If I'm going to be, I think I can take the, I have a Codex right here. That's what I'll do. Terminator Assault Squad, Thunder Hammer as strength by 2, which would be strength 4. If you've Sanguinary Priest there is +1 strength, so they'd be hitting on strength 10, I think is the way that works. AP -3, 3 damage. So a unit of them with Storm Shields would be pretty good, because they'd have a 3-up invul then. I'm just trying to find the Land Raider. Yeah, that's another thing I was thinking about. Alright, Land Raider Crusader, power 16. Land Raider, like a standard one with the multi-melta, twin heavy bolter, twin Nascan, hunter killer, is power 19. And the Redeemer is power 18. Now I've built mine as a Redeemer, so I'll probably run it as what I've built it. So I have 2 Flamestorm cannons, which are only range 8, hunter killer, multi-melta, storm bolter, and twin assault cannon. This model can transport 12 Blood Angels infantry models. Each jump pack or Terminator model takes the space of 2 other models it cannot transport Primaris. So I have, I think, 7 Terminators. I could probably make more, but they're like, from when I started painting, they're all blobbed up and stuff, they're horrible. So what I might do is make I could probably make a Terminator Ancient. So what I might do is make an Ancient, because I can take 6 guys, so it'll be an Ancient plus 5 guys with Thunderhammer Storm Shields. Or alternatively, I could throw a captain and well, I don't I don't like running melee orientated units unless I can give them the proper support. So what I mean by that is I'm going to be running a unit of -1 to hit when I'm hitting Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators. I'm going to be putting them in a Land Raider, and I'm going to need some kind of buff with them, some sort of reroll mechanic that can help them out. And I'm not talking about a 1CP command reroll, I'm talking HQ. So a captain to reroll ones to hit, or if I could get if I only take 5 Terminators, I could take a captain and a Sanguinary Priest with them, or a captain and a lieutenant to reroll ones to hit and reroll ones to wound. Just the Sanguinary Priest helped out the that's actually why the Terminator Captain done so well against the Grandmaster and Dread Knight, because the Sanguinary Priest Lieutenant, and he was obviously a captain, so it's rerolling ones to hit, rerolling ones to wound, and has +1 strength. It's kind of nasty when you think about it, but like it's like a nice wee setup. But it's a lot of points to sink into just a couple of HQs to make sure you're getting all them rerolls. Another thing I also learned was if you read the codex and read your, like the lad that I was playing with always tells me to read my cards when we're playing War Machine, and it's something you kind of go, oh yeah, I know my rules, and then as you're playing the game, you read it and go, yeah, I probably should have done that. So I was reading the codex before I went over to his house, and it says infantry, all Blood Angels, Biker, Dreadnoughts and infantry get +1 to wound rolls if they charge, if they were charged, or if there was a heroic intervention. And so all that baloney that I was giving out about Primaris not suffering from the flaw effectively, apparently they do. And I was chatting to some of the lads in the group about it, and he was like, oh yeah, one of the lads was like, oh yeah, do you not remember blah blah blah. So apparently a Blood Angels Primaris force went in and basically went all red torched all over a village and killed loads of people. So that was something I was not aware of, and I thought that was really cool when I heard about it. So apparently I was talking out of my absolute rear end, and I'm sorry for that, guys. So it turns out that they do get +1 to wound rolls if they were charged, if they charge, or if they heroically intervene. So that's good to know. Yeah, so I just want to have a look at this here again. I'm using the codex for the artwork on the painted models, which there isn't a whole file of. Yeah, so see here, this is what I'm painting off. So it's just all their like pouches, and armour ribbon is all black, that's it. And I just painted the sergeant to have black shoulder pads. I seen that in the picture a minute ago in here, but that's what I'll do then. I'll just do the ribbon and the armour. I say ribbon as in actual ribbing, not ribbons. But yeah, it was interesting when I read that, and it was like Defenders of Humanity, all Blood Angels troops basically get this rule where if there's one Blood Angels model with Defenders of Humanity keyword against 20 Dreadnoughts, well, unless the Dreadnoughts out, 20 tanks we'll say, I get objective secured basically. I thought it was just the rule was objective secured, but apparently not. So if you take anything away from today's video, always read your rules and always make sure you are 100% on stuff. Like that, the Thunderhammer thing there, Sanguinary Priest gives +1 strength to models or to units within 6 inches. So that means that my Thunderhammer Terminator Captain goes up to strength 5. So then the Thunderhammer is strength by 2, which would be strength 10. So I just want to make sure I'm reading all that right, because if it only affects, say, infantry, to include bikers and dreadnoughts, that Redemptor dreadnought's going to be hitting at like strength 11, 12, I think, probably 12. I don't see how you could multiply. If it'd either be strength 5 or strength 6, so it'll be 10 or 12. It'll not be 11 because he's not got half a strength. So yeah, Redemptor Dreadnought's going to get painted up because he draws a lot of fire. So I'm going to try and use that if I'm playing him in a game again, let him absorb it. I did use an absolutely ridiculous amount of command points at the start of the game. So I paid 1 for Death Visions of Sanguinius to make my Captain Death Company. I paid 1 to use an extra Relic of Baal. I took the Veritas Vitae. I think I used 2 or 3 re-rolls throughout the game. I used Forlorn Fury, was 2 command points, so that was 1 to say 4 from Forlorn Fury, and then another 2 for re-rolls. That's 6, left me with 3. I used a stratagem then as 1 point to give an extra D3 attacks to the Terminator Captain. So, and the other 2 must have been just re-rolls then. So yeah, I burned through my command points pretty quick, and I didn't have any left to use to get the Armour of Contempt stratagem, which lets you ignore a mortal wound in a vehicle on like a 5+. But you're going to do it once per phase, obviously. If I had had that, it might have been a bit different with the Predators, but they were still very, very wounded and in no shape to really fight back. It got to the stage where the only thing that was left was my 2-wound Predator, and I fired that needing like 5s to hit or something, I missed, and the other chap just blew it up with the Doomcrawler that was left. The Doomcrawlers getting wounds back, I think, is very powerful. Makes sense, obviously, because they're Mechanicus vehicles, but it makes it very hard to remove them from the board. So, Shadow Spear, I'll talk about that for a bit. Pretty excited about it. I've already talked to my local games, FLGS, my friendly local game store, and I've put in my order for one, so as soon as it goes on release I'll be getting it shipped out to me, which is good, because I'm actually really looking forward to the Captain has a sniper. The Librarian, I think, is absolutely amazing looking. A stealthy Librarian who wears rubber gloves over his armoured hands. There's definitely something cool about that. The Eliminators, I think, are very good, because when I was playing against this chap, he had a unit of Skitari that had 2 trans-eubonic arquebuses in it, and they count as snipers, and he had a Vindicator Assassin, which didn't do much turn 1, but did make up for it later on in the game. I think it was actually him that killed Sanguinius, because I didn't have my invulnerable save against it. But yeah, my scouts are 3 bolters, a starty shotgun, and a heavy bolter. I used the Hellfire rounds to do wounds against, I think it was the Dread Knight, maybe. But yeah, the snipers are very powerful. Now, he forgot to shoot with them turn 1, but he did remember later on in the game and was just straight up targeting characters with the sniper. So I think the Eliminators will go nicely in my list. I'm not sure about the Librarian, if I want to put him in the list yet, because obviously I have the Primaris Librarian there, I have Mephiston to paint up, I have Terminator Librarian. Obviously I'm bringing the Librarian Dreadnought because he's cool. Maybe it's not worthwhile bringing the Librarian Dreadnought anymore, but some of the Primaris powers are quite nice. Temporal Corridor or something like that, where you can move models in the psychic phase as if it was the movement phase. That's pretty nice. So you could basically get your deck company across the board turn 1, as in literally across the board, but I don't know if it's just on Primaris Vanguard units, or if you can do it to any chapter unit, as in if it was a Blood Angels Primaris Vanguard, could he do it to other friendly Blood Angels units? But I'm really looking forward to painting the Librarian. The suppressors, I'm sure if you're anyway at all on social media, you have seen all of the memes going around of the suppressors, and they're putting out fires, and they've got short barrels and droopy barrels and all the rest of it. I personally don't think they look realistic, and then I have to sit back and kind of remind myself, you know, I'm playing as a grown man playing with plastic toy soldiers, and I'm worried about something not being realistic, you know. We have to remember that we play this game for the love of the game, not the realisticness of it. Like, if you look at a Land Raider, you look at a Predator, you're not going to fit a 2-man Space Marine crew on a Predator. They're probably the same height as it when they stand beside it. So I'm trying to keep that in mind when all the negativity's going around online about them, and oh, look at this, and oh, they're... I seen one guy post on Reddit, which I thought was quite funny. It was like a stick man drawn of one of the suppressors firing his gun, and he was basically floating, fired the gun, backflipped, and that was the stabilising mechanic that Call had designed for the suppressors. Rules wise, I think the suppressors are absolutely amazing. If you kill a model in a unit with a model in the suppressors unit, because the guns are so big and powerful, basically they suffer suppressing fire. That's what they call the suppressors, and basically they cannot fire Overwatch next turn, which is great, especially if I'm going to be running Thunderhammer, Storm Shield Terminators into people's faces. I don't want them shooting me. So with Tau, it'd be a bit different. You'd have to kill a Riptide, stop it overwatching if it was within 6 inches of the unit, you know, that kind of way. But if you had a unit of crisis suits, and you managed, well, you probably would manage to kill a crisis suit with one suppressor. The rest of that crisis suit unit can't overwatch you if you charge them, or everything else in 6 inches code with the for the greater good ability. It's a very interesting mechanic to introduce into the game. Obviously I'm going to try and convert them up. I'll be painting all of my Shadow Spear stuff as Blood Angels. I'll probably be able to run an all Blood Angels detachment at that stage, if I get the rest of the stuff painted up and built. But the captain has a sniper rifle as well, it's just really good. So a captain targeting characters with a sniper rifle that rerolls ones to hit is pretty decent. I think there's a lieutenant guy, seen a couple of memes of him, his head's getting turned upside down and whatever, but he looks pretty cool as well, and everyone is like taking the mick out of him because he's got 2 knives. But you think about it, like, he's kind of a covert op kind of guy. He's going to be going in behind enemy lines, he's going to be, you know, striking hard and fast, and the last thing he wants to do is get a knife stuck in the back of an orc skull and not be able to take it out and have no knife. So functionally I think it's very cool. What I'm going to do with my Primaris Marines before I actually, the intercessors, before I actually paint them up, is I'm going to give them as many different pouches and stuff like this as I can, just because I think it adds something to them. They're not just bland armour, you know what I mean. It breaks it up a lot. It looks like they're well equipped for battle, they've got plenty of ammo, that kind of stuff. It just breaks the models up an awful lot. Like I'm pretty sure it was the Dark Imperium box guys had like, obviously there was repeat poses, in Shadow Spear, but them guys had different bolters. Some of them had bolters with different ammo side, like kind of slanted ammo clips, or some of them had scopes, some of them didn't have scopes. And when you buy a box of intercessors, I think you get all them options, because there's 3 different bolt carbines you can make. Bolt rifle, there's a bolt carbine, and there's another one as well with different ranges and stuff, but they all have different scopes, different ammo clips. You obviously don't have to play them as, oh, this guy has a stalker bolt rifle, if you like the ammo clip, but it also just diversifies your squads. Yeah, there's something definitely wrong with the camera. It just went off there again. So I'm gonna call it here, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sitting through the video if you've got this far, and let me know your thoughts on Shadow Spear, and we'll see you in the next video.